Oui, bonsoir à tous. Hello, good evening to all. Thank you for attending our today's conference on new tendencies of consumers in Ukraine at the time of COVID. We are very happy to have you all here tonight, based either here at Unit City or attending through our Facebook page. Thank you again. Before we start the conference, I would like to say a few words about the new project that the French Chamber of Commerce has launched. It is the French Week, or in Ukrainian will be called Більше Франції. It will be a promotional event that we are launching for 1 week from the 5th to the 11th of December. It is basically an event or a project that we have launched in order to, in these difficult times, to facilitate and promote sales of French products in Ukraine. So basically for all our members, for all of your companies, it's a project where we will be launching an internet site. We will be doing a media advertisement, a media campaign, and we will try to promote as much as we can this event in order to promote, at the end of the day, your companies. You have all received a mail from Maud today about the event, about the project. We see it as an open project. Basically, all the French companies and all the companies selling French products will be able to participate in order to either make discounts on certain type of products or promoting special events, or as you want, any events you would like to promote in order to promote your products. So do not hesitate to contact Maud on that. We'll be happy to have you on board, and we will give you more and more information as on the project as we carry on. I just wanted to say a few words on it because it's something that we are launching this year for the first time, and we really hope this is something that's going to help sell your products. So thank you very much. Without any further ado, I will leave the floor to our very esteemed presenter tonight, James Brooke. James Brooke is the journalist that I guess everybody knows in the French and international community in Ukraine. He's the editor of the Ukraine Business News, the news that you are receiving every morning on your mails, that you can read either in 30 seconds or 5 minutes if you read all the articles. It's translated in many languages, from French to German and English and Russian, Ukrainian, so it's quite practical and interesting. So I will leave now James present you his guests tonight and start the conference on consumption tendencies in Ukraine today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bertrand. Excellent. Thank you for the promotion. I always appreciate that. Good evening, everybody. We're lucky to have 4 eminent representatives of French companies here. On my immediate left is Tatiana Chevrolet of Global Distribution Ukraine. And then further to the left, Andrey Chabanov of Peugeot. And then immediately to my right is Yelyzaveta Timenko of L'Oréal, and on the far right we have Andrey Chabanov. We have Michel Genadinos of Auchan, and I think you're here to listen to the presenters. We're going to have some PowerPoints, and then we're going to have hopefully a lively back and forth that will be informative, and we'll learn a lot about where the Ukrainian market is going today. So I'd like to start with Yelyzaveta of L'Oréal. And she has a lovely PowerPoint, and does that?
Yes.
There we are.
We are looking on it.
So this is what? This is you, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Hi, colleagues. I represent L'Oréal, and my work is deeply connected with consumers insight. So my presentation will be connected with those impact that COVID-19 made on our beauty business, and a few words about socio-economic aspect in general, I will tell you. So let's look. those impact that we are getting in Ukraine, it's quite big, because 4 from 10 Ukrainians felt a negative impact on their revenue. Top concern now is connected with the level of prices and goods wherever, in every sphere, but in beauty sphere also. But comparing with European and global other countries, Ukraine didn't get so deep falling down of consumer confidence index. As you see, in Ukraine, falling down of this index was from 63 in 2019 to 56, and it is not very deep. But financial concerns really take a first place among all other concerns now. I will try to explain which impact we've got connected with different level of income, and I want to stress our attention that the most impact get the low income consumers and middle class consumers, but middle class and high income level consumers remain the same. So the situation, I think, not is very dramatic in Ukraine, as we see. And what we're getting connected with shifting between channels, yes, as we see, online growing is very huge. Approximately 37% of Ukrainian consumers started to buy online more often. But I want to stress our attention that this target that is not those consumers that never buy online before. So it is more looks like those consumers that bought online before started to buy online more often. So this is not a newcomers. And we are also observing decreasing of a big food chains and increasing of popularity small shops near home, small beauty shops near home, and grocery near home. And the frequency of purchases in general decreased, but the middle check and basket size, consumer basket size, increasing. And a few words which is connected with situation in beauty purchase channels. The main purchase channel as drugstores decreasing dramatically, and this is the main stores in beauty, so it's not very good situation. But we are looking on a huge e-com growing in beauty sphere, and slightly growing in a food channel. So consumers become to buy more often beauty goods in one store. It could be a supermarket where you could buy all goods and beauty as well. And as very logic, it's a deep decreasing of traditional trade. And a few words about how COVID-19 impacted on beauty business. Let's look. I don't really feel that you look good on this chart, but I will comment that we are expecting of decreasing of beauty market on the level of -1 in 2020, comparing with 2019. But you know, this decreasing is not very deep, because I'm sure that, and I know good that European market, European beauty market, Eastern European and Western European countries show much more deep decreasing in beauty sphere. So our situation is very slightly bad, because I feel that it is very connected with our mentality, because our women that our target, it's female 60-65 with middle and middle plus income, their beauty routine remains the same. it become more simple, but our females continue looking, pampering themselves, and they didn't refuse their beauty routine even in the situation of very hard lockdown. So they continue making haircut, manicure, and etc. and etc. And I think that not so deep falling down beauty market in Ukraine, connected with the mentality of our Ukrainian women. We like to be beautiful, so it's very good for us. And we're really observing of huge growing of e-com share and e-com buying of beauty in Ukraine. And comparing with 2019, the share of e-com in total beauty market will increase from 8.7 to 13.6%, and it's very huge growing. And as you see on the right side, that our partners like Makeup.UA, Parfums.UA, and Rosetka, the evolution in summer 2020 comparing with 2019 is almost 100%. And in terms of e-retailers like Watsons, Eva, Beaumont, it's plus 146, and it is very huge growing, as you see. The main categories which Ukrainian females buy online is makeup and face care. And this category, I think, overlapping, comparing with decreasing of offline, and it is good for us. And I want to stress on interesting information connected with main drivers of choosing retail in offline and online. And it is very interesting changes comparing with 2019, because comparing with 2019, in this year we are looking on very, very important, pleasant shopping experience connected with beauty purchases. And in 2019, it was a good correspondence of price and quality. So now for consumers, much more important to get those pleasant consumer journey. And it is also very important in offline shop to buy all goods very quickly, and to buy all goods in one place. So I want to buy everything in one place and not visiting all other shopping channels that I could make in the previous year. And for online, we are observing a year of very high educated consumers. I think it's very connected with online growing, so our consumers need much more than in previous year information about products and goods. Different feedbacks of real consumers, different reviews and advices of real consumers. And I want to stress attention that the role of a brand, well-known brand and popular and I don't know, the image of brands are not so important now for consumers like in 2019. And but I want to also stress that almost 50% of online buyers, online shoppers in Ukraine are not satisfied with the level of service of online shops in Ukraine. And of course, we are looking on such barrier as a lack of real experience. So not all shops could give this experience in terms of testers and miniatures. But we really observe bad level of consultation in online, and slow delivery and some mistakes in delivery. So consumers are not satisfied with the level of online in Ukraine. And at the end of my speech, I want to stress attention on those trends that we are observing in terms of beauty market and females in Ukraine now. Actually, in 4 main segments like mass market, dermatocosmetics, luxury, and salons, we are observing a totally trend of health-inspired beauty. Health-inspired beauty is very connected with interest in natural cosmetics and a significant increase of popularity of health-inspired claims in beauty products like immunity boosting and natural ingredients, vitamins and protection of microbiomes and etc. And a huge role of advices of health experts like fitness bloggers, like dermatologists, dietologists, and all people connected with sphere of health. So they become on focus in beauty sphere as well. And also we are observing popularity of industrial cosmetics versus handmade that was in 2019, and popularity of local made products and multifunctional beauty products like a more economy and innovative versions. And it is really trends that we are observing in all beauty market. But I want to add interesting information connected with lockdown and those facts that consumers who bought beauty products abroad now having this possibility, and it is the main connected with luxury consumers. So 40% of luxury consumers bought beauty products abroad. But now they have not such a possibility, and duty-free or abroad. But now they have no such possibility, and younger generation of Lux users come to online, mostly to Makeup.UA as our main partner. But I want to stress that half of them are not satisfied with the level of service of this site, and many of them have doubts connected with originality of product there. But all the Lux users, like 36 plus, they delayed their beauty purchases because of they don't like to buy online. They like offline consumer journey and offline real experience. And they are not satisfied with the level of service in our luxury retail in Ukraine. It is connected with Brocard, but it is connected with all our beauty offline shops, comparing with Sephora and etc. And I want to add a few words about do-it-yourself trend and trend of growing a dark market of salons and independent stylists in Ukraine. Because the majority of beauty consumers denied official salons at the situation of very hard lockdown that was at spring. And they started to do all this beauty at home with the help of home hairdressers. And this segment is growing. And the end of my speech, because I know that we have a little time, will be connected with shifting in touch points. The first and very interesting fact is connected with significantly increasing of role of experts like doctors, hairdressers, and familiar close surroundings, comparing with mass communication or traditional social media. And now we are observing popularity of micro-beauty bloggers. So those bloggers who are not very mass, who give a personal approach to consumers, who we are calling them niche bloggers, who give more individual communication to consumers, and the popularity of goods that they present are very high, and this popularity we are observing of the majority of consumers, 80%. And I want to add that the popularity of online education from brands are very increasing now, and consumers are more likely to believe to brands who make free online education or any personal approach to them versus brands who don't give them this. But actually in Ukraine we are observing that only 8% of consumers are ready to pay for online content from brands. So this content they are expecting that will be free. And actually the main touch point now, as we know, as we all know, I think, it is smartphone. And actually 70% of Ukrainians are ready to buy from smartphone and are ready to read something from goods and brands that they buy or interested in. And I think we should end, because I know that we have more information from other speakers. Okay.
Let me take your clicker.
Oh,
yeah,
yes,
good.
please.
Yelyzaveta, thank you very much. Very interesting. And it isn't a popular topic with this audience, but I watched this Netflix series, Emily in Paris, full of all the stereotypes you can imagine about Paris. But the power of Instagram and the micro fashion bloggers was illustrated very well there. One very quick question. There's sort of a feeling that women often make their face up for their friends and for society. In a lockdown situation, they're not going out, so one might conclude that they're spending less, using less cosmetics. But if I read your analysis, people right through the quarantine kept making themselves up.
You know, in Ukraine, thank you for the question. In Ukraine, it's really interesting situation that female keep doing their makeup, but the routine is more simple. We are calling it like home style look. Home style look at clothes, home style look at makeup, but the majority of females keep doing it.
Yeah, well, that's good news. Unfortunately, we may be heading towards a French-style lockdown, which I think starts in Paris today. You can't go out after dark. Great, thank you. Now we're going to move to the big-ticket items. And Andrey, you are marketing Peugeot, a huge automobile manufacturer, and I will pass you the clicker.
Thank you, James.
Yeah. Is it clicking?
Yeah, I'm trying to switch to my slides, but it doesn't work. It's on.
Are they queued up in the laptop somewhere? Oh, here we are. Great.
Yeah. Okay, so now it works. So let's start. You know that COVID-19 impacted all our businesses really significantly. Maybe there is some difference between one or another business, but it must be mentioned that automotive business was affected the most. People were freezed in mobility, and it was one of the most visible signs of this pandemic. Also, mobility behavior has changed. Many people, they continue to work at home, and other ones, they simply stop traveling. So we see really change in behavior. 52% of respondents travel less than before. Shift from airplane and trains to private vehicles is really visible on the market due to the fact that 69% of Europeans, car purchaser intenders, they feel themselves much safer in their private transport, but not in a public one. Also, what must be mentioned, that 55% of customers, they simply postpone their plans to buy new car due to pandemic. Also, quite important point, that digital becomes more important in the sales funnel, in the sales process. Only 1/3 of young customers, they prefer to talk to sales or after sales in person. And respondents are even more interested in contactless services, and they are ready to pay more for contactless services. At the same time, demand for new vehicles significantly dropped in March, April, May, and now it started to recover. We see a growth everywhere in US, in Europe, in Asia as well. What should we say about Ukraine? That in Ukraine market also dropped significantly, and new car market and used cars market. At some period of time in April, market of used cars stuck, and number of deals was 0 for all our country due to the fact that authorities simply they didn't work at that period of time. But in Ukraine, situation is more positive because despite in Europe market drops by 15-20% depending on the country, in Ukraine such a drop is only -2%, which is we can call it like a success because we are staying on the level of previous year. At the same time, intention to buy a new car in Europe fell down, but now it's improving, and we can see a gap of 10% only. It means that people, they are thinking about purchase of new car. What also must be mentioned, that on the question, what would most influence your decision when purchasing a new car? First answer is manufacturer discounts, which was not the fact before. Second answer is zero interest or low rate. So it means that market is totally price-oriented, discount-oriented. It was a surprise to see on the third position eco-friendly or low emission. Yeah, we see such trends that people want to buy a green car without CO2 emissions, but it's answer number 3 in terms of decision, when you make a decision. Also, quite important point, which we now can see in this list, it's still the last answer in the ranking, ability to buy a car online. In the past, this answer wasn't important at all.
These are European buyers, right?
Yep.
Not
we
Ukrainian
speak about
buyers.
Not Ukraine.
Yeah, or European, but
Yeah,
EU buyers.
In Ukraine, we don't have lots of insights like that. But what we can say that lots of companies, Group PSA as well, started to propose new offers on the market. For example, in April, we also launched online sales with possibility to choose a car from online stock on the website, book this car and send a request to the dealer, which will maintain sales process. At the end of the process, you can get even at-home delivery of the car, which was possible and which was realized in Ukraine as well. Versus Europe, in Ukraine, we don't see such strong trend now. So it was in April, May, but now it doesn't exist. So nevertheless, we continue to work on online sales and possibility of further delivery of the car to your home, but it's not so important as still exists in Europe. Also, what should we mention? Just simply have a look on a curve. Searches related to discounts and deals increased significantly by 3 and 4 times on an annual scale. So again, one more proof that consumers in Europe and in Ukraine now are price-oriented. So they are looking for special deal or they are looking for attractive price. Another important moment, so eco-driving. Lots of people started to think about electric car or hybrid car due to pandemic. They simply now want to care about environment due to the fact that in April, in May, we experienced significant change in environmental environment in Europe. We still remember that in Paris, in other cities, huge agglomerations, CO2 emissions dropped significantly and air became much more fresher than before. Due to this fact, 82% more searches we can see in the web. So people are looking more for electric vehicles or hybrids. It's one of the reasons why we decided to start sales of low emission vehicles in Ukraine as well. Just supporting this trend, we see that there is a demand on the market for hybrids, for electric vehicles. Therefore, we are building a strategy to launch such activity in coming months. Another interesting point that searches of online sales and at-home test drive increased by 500%. So people want to keep their private life without visiting dealerships, without contacting salesmen. They want to make all the process online. One of the proof of this fact is that consumers prefer digital sales channel. We can see three blue colors. Just blue, it means classic visit to dealership. Light blue, it's the number of people who wants to contact dealership by phone. And dark blue, it's people who wants to buy a car online. And we see a slight growth from 31 to 33%. Of course, on a global scale, it's a huge number of customers who is going to buy a car online. So that's it. What I wanted just to highlight in a few words that price orientation and discount orientation is quite important now on the market. Eco-driving will be important in the next years. So even in Ukraine, where we don't have special taxes on CO2 emissions, where you can import even Euro 0 used car without any control, nevertheless, people, they start to take care about green life, about zero emissions, and it's also quite important trend. And online purchase as a future of any business in any country.
Just one quick thing, Andrey. As you last 2 years, new car sales, used car sales, and used car sale or pre-owned cars are maybe 4 times as many as in used cars, new cars. Are you benefiting from that? Are you obviously you're doing the service? Are Peugeot dealerships selling pre-owned cars that have been imported from Europe? But it's the big trend where I think fresh, new cars are maybe 20% of the market.
Yeah, I would say it's true that the used cars market is times bigger than new cars market. In Ukraine, it's 1 to 6 or 1 to 7. So the difference is huge. For the moment, we don't have it like a business, but of course, like any other company, we are working on it, on business case, and we will see if one day it happens. So of course, we will announce this event.
And of course, your dealerships can sell the parts and do the service.
But in order to support our existing customers who already purchased Peugeot, Citroën, Opel, or DS brands, we launched several months ago online registration for service appointment, which wasn't available in the past. Now you can make an appointment to service via website or mobile application, which is also available for our customers.
Great, great. Well, Andrey, thank you. I think I'll take the power stick back.
Thank you.
And we're running over to the other side of the table here. And Michel of Auchan, you're next. Love to hear what you have to say.
Donc я буду говорить на русском и не на французском. Что вы хотите? На французском? На
Может,
русском?
лучше на русском. я
На
думаю.
русском? Окей.
На французском.
На французском, как вы хотите. En français, et après можно переводить на французском.
Oui, pour les Français.
Que des français? Très bien.
На русском.
На русском. Спасибо. Супер. Donc, то, что касается COVID, мы анализировали предыдущий кризис, который был сразу несколько лет назад, чтобы понимать, какая эволюция будет, когда есть кризис COVID. И как работает?
Направо, да.
Вот, спасибо. И donc, это то, что мы анализировали, когда был кризис сразу несколько лет назад, 10 лет назад, 20 лет назад. Но то, что мы можем посмотреть, COVID это нет как сразу, потому что сразу был очень короткий времени, COVID мы продолжаем, и мы знаем, что будет еще через год минимум. Минимум.
Право.
Еще нет.
Есть две кнопки и направо.
Направо, окей.
Да.
И то, что мы посмотрели, когда был COVID, есть несколько, как можно сказать, поведений клиента, которые были очень разные. Первый, есть много клиентов, которые покупали обязательный товар, как бумажный туалет, как мука, как сера и так далее. Для нас нет большой сюрпризы, но очевидно, нам надо было реагировать очень быстро. Дальше мы можем понимать, что есть большое потребление по поводу здоровья и гигиены. Нет косметик. Косметик, мы понимали, что для клиентов это нет самый большой приоритет. Самый большой приоритет это здоровье и гигиена. Дальше, очевидно, нам надо информировать ежедневно, нам надо запустить информации по поводу товара, как мы производим и так далее, потому что сейчас для клиентов это больше и больше важно. Дальше нам надо тоже посмотреть, что это e-commerce. Donc для нас это нет тоже большой сюрприз, но чтобы объяснить, какой импакт, с января до марта мы работаем нормально через онлайн, и в основном мы используем заказ, и у нас на сайт Auchan.UA. От апреля до конца июня мы реализовали почти 3 раза больше, чем обычно. Но то, что будет очень интересно, после конца июня мы продолжали работать как обычно. Это поэтому сейчас тенденция, которую мы посмотрели, когда был кризис COVID, мы продолжаем продавать, как был кризис COVID. И для нас это очень, для нас это интересно, очевидно. Но я думаю, что, потому что наши клиенты, вы можете посмотреть позже, là, это, donc, я думаю, что это интересно, потому что это какая эволюция есть, когда есть система кризы. Мы начинаем, это инфекция и так далее, до конца. И мы думали, что после кризиса, COVID, все должен быть как нормально, но это неправильно. Это то, что я сказал по поводу онлайн. И мы подумали, как мы сможем работать для клиентов в Украине. Это не очень просто, потому что мы ритейлер, donc мы продаем прод, 80% почти, и не прод, 20%. И мы думали, что по поводу не прод, этот кризис не будет очень хорошо, потому что большой проблем, который у нас с клиентами, это доход. И мы можем понимать, что когда нам надо разделить бюджет, мы покупаем то, что нам надо каждый день, и дальше мы покупаем другие товары. Это то, что было апрель до конца июня. После конца июня наши клиенты покупали почти нормально. И для нас это очень интересно, потому что мы понимали, что когда наши клиенты думали, что кризис это почти закончит, они покупали как обычно. Сентябрь, октябрь это по-другому сейчас, потому что кризис продолжает. Donc это то, что вы уже посмотрели с вами и так далее. Donc я не хочу повторять то, что касается кризиса и так далее. Là, это тенденция потребления. Donc, это очень интересно, потому что это как мы сможем использовать эту информацию, чтобы обновить наш ассортимент. И, donc, очевидно, мы не можем поменять наш гипермаркет сразу, это очень тяжело. Нам надо понимать то, что наши клиенты хотят покупать, чтобы адаптировать этот ассортимент в зависимости от потребностей. Donc, что будет интересно, это очевидно, когда был кризис, потому что сейчас мы не можем сравнить апрель до июня, потому что апрель до июня, это первый раз, есть много клиентов, которые оставляют у дома и так далее, и очевидно, это нет как сейчас. Сейчас есть другие тенденции. Апрель до июня наши клиенты подготовить кухню у дома. Не смогли, извините, уходить в кино, косметик и так далее, фитнес и так далее. Это поэтому сейчас мы адаптировали наш ассортимент в зависимости от поведения. Donc мы продавали много спортивных аксессуаров, мы продавали много мука и так далее, чтобы, потому что наши клиенты хотят, и это очевидно, не покупать у магазина. Là, это тенденция потребления. Что мы можем посмотреть? То, что касается товар для гигиены, товар для здоровья, маски и так далее, это то, что есть большое повышение. Большое повышение. То, что касается, это то, что я сказал, товар как шоколад, как конфетти и так далее, уменьшили очень много. И то, что я могу... И тоже то, что я сказал, это шопинг онлайн. Donc, шопинг онлайн для нас e-commerce, мы уверены, что это что будет на будущее. Потому что если мы не запустили e-commerce, я уверен, что в магазин мы потеряли почти 10-15% оборот. Сразу. Через онлайн мы компенсируем, мы не увеличим, мы компенсируем товарооборот, который нормально мы реализовали через магазин. Это потому сейчас мы работаем, чтобы усилить наш e-commerce, либо через заказ, потому что это прод у дома, либо через Auchan.UA, потому что это не прод у дома. И когда, плюс то, что мы уже решили, мы запустили наш партнерство с Glovo. Вы знаете, Glovo начинал работать почти 1 год назад в Украине, и мы начали 1 год назад работать с Glovo. Alors, мы не предусмотрели кризис, но когда был кризис, Glovo работает очень хорошо, и особенно со мной, потому что мы первый ритейлер, который работает с Glovo. И когда, например, Glovo это почти, я могу дать цифры, но это каждый день это 150 заказов. Когда был кризис, это 700 до 1000 заказов каждый день через Glovo. Donc, и сейчас мы продолжаем. Donc, это интересно, потому что мы понимаем, что поведение клиента сейчас это особенно через e-commerce, через онлайн. Alors, очевидно, нам надо работать опыт клиента, experience consumer в магазине. Но то, что будет важно для клиентов сейчас, это цена. И цена, это поэтому сейчас, как ритейлер, нам надо руководить цена каждый день. Но цена, это основные, как можно, ожидания клиента. Первое ожидание клиента – это цена. Я думаю, что то, что мы посмотрели с Peugeot, есть наши клиенты ожидают скидки, бонусы и так далее, и через ритейлер тоже самое. Là, это то, что я сказал, то, что какой рынок уменьшит и какой рынок увеличит. То же самое. Après, очевидно, по поводу то, что касается этого кризиса, нам должен быть адаптировать наша коммуникация. Потому что мы работаем через каталог, через Facebook, через сейчас ТВ и так далее. И donc мы адаптировали наш бюджет в зависимости от кризиса. И мы обновили наш план коммуникации в зависимости от кризиса. Donc мы коммуницировали больше через Facebook, мы коммуницировали больше через ТВ, мы будем использовать YouTube, потому что YouTube это очень интересно для нас. И мы уменьшим наш каталог, мы уменьшим то, что наши клиенты не хотят использовать, особенно бумажный каталог, потому что, скажем, есть много информации, которые сказали, что это очень опасно, но я не уверен, но это чтобы объяснить, что это из-за кризиса. Мы обновили этот принцип коммуникации, и мы продолжаем. Мы анализируем, как наши клиенты покупают, и дальше мы обновим наш план коммуникации. Это то же самое. Après, что будет для нас очень интересно, это то, что будет позже. Потому что то, что было, мы знаем. И то, что я уже слушал, это почти одинаковая проблематика везде. Для нас это как мы сможем руководить этот кризис после. Donc, очевидно, я уже обсуждал по поводу e-commerce онлайн, но я думаю, что это недостаточно. Нам надо переподумать наш систем, нам надо переподумать наш экосистем ритейла. Особенно не только из-за COVID. Из-за COVID это бустер. То, что мы можем понимать через COVID, это то, что было раньше. Но COVID усилит эту тенденцию. Это нет новой тенденции. Это тенденция, которая была, но сейчас из-за COVID нам надо работать быстрее. И нам надо адаптировать наш экосистем, наш систем быстрее, чем то, что мы предусматривали. И я думаю, что COVID это для нас, это нет большая, для меня это нет большая революция. Это, по поводу здоровья, очевидно, это большой проблем. Но то, что касается потребления, это то, что было, но нам надо работать быстрее, нам надо подумать по-другому, и нам надо адаптировать наш экосистем. И то, что мы работали раньше, я уверен, что через год, через 2 года должен быть по-другому обязательно. Потому что наш клиент есть как можно другие ожидания, не только здоровье, потому что здоровье это базовые ожидания, но есть другие ожидания, чтобы покупать, жить и потратить деньги. И я думаю, что тоже то, что это какое доверие есть на будущего. И я думаю, что сейчас нам надо адаптировать наш систем, чтобы сопровождать наш клиент, чтобы слушать лучше наш клиент. И donc, то, что в синтез, COVID для меня это не хорошо, очевидно. Но из-за COVID должен быть работать быстрее и адаптировать быстрее наш système et наш écosystème. Voilà ce que je peux vous dire rapidement pour...
Merci Michel,
De rien.
très intéressant. Et si vous pouvez me passer le clicker, je vais passer à Tatiana Chevrolet, la dernière, mais la meilleure.
I give no presentation. Actually, Marta
Oh, you don't, yeah.
refused me to make some PowerPoints, so I will be.
Yeah, we want
But
to
I
hear what
will
you...
join there because there is experience Yelyzaveta share with you. It's exactly the same as we are doing, and we are observing the L'Occitane. I love Michel because he told us that it's what's else and what is our new life. In L'Occitane, we tell it's new normal. So it will be part of our life with not the crisis, but new concept of living together and buying, and all services which will be different. So the first, I think it's about omni-channel. I think everybody knows what is it. It's when we are playing offline and online together, and we create a synergy. The second, that omni-channel will give to our consumer possibility to buy everything, anytime, everywhere. The same for the services. The customer, man or woman first, of course. The next, we observe that not only product is important, the supply chain, the history, the safety, the commitment of the brand of the product will be extremely important. And Peugeot, which is doing a great job for the green planet. Yeah, L'Oreal, who doing many things on product development, and you say the water, the energy, right, Yelyzaveta? So the problem. So the brands have today to bring this I don't know, additional things to the product. The trends are more or less the same on Europe. as we observe, because we're working from Ukraine, we're working with 65 countries. So the trend is the same. Even I should tell that Ukraine come to October with pretty good results. So we even did plus 25% in local price.
35.
20.
25. Wow.
Yeah.
Very good. Because inflation is 2.5%.
Let's see. Maybe it will be more. But the first, it's thanks to digital, as Michel. So we managed our own platform, and we're trying to make best service in terms of visibility with supplying. Packaging, and the part of our business on e-retail grow up, and the target is to get 20% from total sale.
Great, great.
The region, we did not tell about the region. So Ukraine today, it's a country with some main cities, which was not a case 10 years ago. So the mostly business was concentrated maybe not 10, 15, 20 years ago in Kiev, but today Kharkiv, Odessa, Lviv, and Dnipro showed us a good performance on all brands. I believe for Michel, we have a new openings, not recent openings in Kharkiv, which performs well, yeah? I think you have a project in Odessa.
Odessa.
It was.
On verra.
Okay. So
Odessa,
we're doing well on all that regions.
It's great. Well, thank you, Tatiana. Very interesting. And I thought I'd open up to some questions. And the number one is, this year we may end with retail sales up. In the summer, they're up 10%. They may be up by 9%. You just mentioned a 20, 25%. Why are retail sales going up? Well, we all know the economy is shrinking, and the economy will be down between 5 and 6%. How does that compute, where you have an economy shrinking, but retail sales up? And I throw that out to all of you. Yelyzaveta?
I think it is a shock effect of increasing of consumption, because we want, as I've told, that middle check increased, but the frequency of purchases decreased. So I think it's like a stock effect, and as I've mentioned, the income of middle class and high class remains the same as for now. So hope and the forecast for 2021 is not very bad. We're expecting increasing of purchases and increasing of business evolution. So hope that this pandemic is not so dramatic for our country, and it's obviously connected with shopping behavior. And actually, I know that even half of Ukrainians are ready to shop in shopping centers, in big malls, regardless of the quarantine situation, as they made it before. Some of them decrease their check, but the majority of Ukrainians feeling lack of offline shopping experience. And it is also connected with our mentalities, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would like just
Tatiana.
Exactly the same reasons, and just to add that, so the fact that the population, so our spenders, stayed in Ukraine.
Yeah.
The budget is for the traveling, for the sport activity.
They were stuck here.
It was stuck, and we felt it on our ATV. It's exactly and in even figures from September, the traffic in the shopping mall in Ukraine, in Kiev, was decreased only 30%, which is not huge, and only 10% in the region.
That is a percentage of what? Of these?
Traffic.
Traffic,
It's
yeah.
number of
Foot
people
traffic, yeah.
coming to the shopping mall
Yeah.
globally.
That's very interesting. The other big picture is that unfortunately the population is not only aging, but it's actually shrinking. I got a very chilling number that you look at the oblasts, they're 24, and that for each baby born, there are 2 people dying, which is not a very encouraging statistic. I mean, as you look ahead, are you moving from baby diapers to adult diapers? I mean, how are you dealing with the fact that the population maybe people are getting richer and so they can spend more? I don't know.
Si j'ai bien compris la question, c'est par rapport à la
Comment
réduction
la
de la
vieillesse,
La population est en train de vieillir.
la production de
La population du
la population.
Du pays.
La population du pays. Je peux parler en français, ça sera beaucoup plus facile.
Ouais.
C'est un énorme problème. La réduction de la population, c'est la base même de la consommation. Et donc, quand on a une population comme en Ukraine qui se réduit, je crois que l'année dernière, on a perdu un peu plus d'1 million d'habitants, et ça continue avec la baisse de la natalité, même si le gouvernement donne énormément d'avantages pour avoir des enfants. Malheureusement, le pouvoir d'achat est tellement bas que ça n'incite pas les gens à avoir des enfants. Donc, je dis vraiment ce que je pense. Et donc, cette baisse de la population est un problème, puisque les pays se développent par leur population. Et ça peut être éventuellement compensé par le pouvoir d'achat. Malheureusement, la crise, aujourd'hui une mini encore d'évaluation qui se passe, n'arrange pas la consommation des ménages. Et donc ça, c'est un vrai problème. Ça ne veut pas dire pour autant qu'on n'a pas de solution. Maintenant, ça va réduire le marché. Je pense qu'il va y avoir des phénomènes de concentration adaptés au marché.
If I could pick up on the concentration, there is an urbanization process going on. And it's very interesting. I looked at the top 175 cities in Ukraine. 35 in the last 20 years have actually grown. Now the champion is Irpin, which has grown by 40%, and Bucha has grown by 20%. But there are, and Kyiv itself has grown by only 5% or something, but that's like an extra 1 million people. I'm talking a little grosso modo. Are you seeing that retailers are sort of going to where this population is moving?
You mean about senior authors?
I'm talking about there are some cities where the population is actually growing, and I think it's part of the overall urbanization phenomenon where people don't want to live in villages. I know Epicenter is really targeting the B and C cities. You know, if you have 25,000 people, you might have an Epicenter K. I'm exaggerating a little bit. Are you seeing that, yes, the pie is getting smaller, but there's been a shift in where the population is, and I was in Bucha the other day, and we were stuck in traffic jams Saturday night at 9 o'clock. The roads have not kept up, but there are little shops right there, and I felt like I was in, Connecticut or somewhere. Are you seeing a shift in the geography of where you sell?
Not really.
I can say about automotive market. So there is no science. Yes, Kyiv still it's the huge market for car sellers.
Yeah.
We can say that it's approximately 40%
So 40%,
of total sales.
Yeah.
Still, we have like strong players like Dnipro or Kharkiv, who is giving like approximately 8% each. Odessa is dropping down due to huge import of used cars from US, which is coming. Yeah. And this is the market who lost quite huge volumes in the past. Odessa was on the level of Kharkov for automotive sales. All other regions, they don't make big investments. Like still we speak about 1-2% each. So each region like Krapivnitsky or Ternopil, they're still giving from 1 to 2% of total market. Of course, it's important to cover all these regions in order to make cumulative sales. But Kyiv, it's the main one.
I had heard that there are 10,000 used cars coming in from the U.S. every month.
Really?
Yeah.
every
they're
month.
slightly damaged.
Yep.
And they go straight to the shop to be fixed. But yeah, no, it's a real turnaround. And once again, with the low tariffs, it's been a real turnaround in that market. Something that doesn't affect you would be the huge imports from China through e-commerce. And I don't know whether in the cosmetics department that affects you at all. And at one point they were going to limit the number of, the dollar limit that people could bring in from China. But Nova Poshta and Ukroposhta are doing very well with this business.
In beauty business, we are observing decreasing decreasing in popularity of Asia brand. Some decreasing. I think it's connected with fears, but also we are observing that decreasing American more expensive brands, mass market brands remain the same, and growing in local made. And the question connected with population aging and decreasing. In beauty business, we have it remains still, our target remains the same because our target is connected with females who are living in big cities. It is the main. And also the income of our target slightly but increasing, so the frequency of purchases will increase. So it family population aging doesn't impact so much.
Yeah. One thing also while we're thinking internationally, we always think go west, go to Europe, but we're one day, this is a hypothetical, Billuby, an economic normalization with Russia. For example, you may be building an Auchan in Kharkiv, correct? Which is only 45 minutes from the Russian border. And traditionally, and I was at that massive market in Kharkiv, I can't remember the name, but it's like biggest in Ukraine or something. And they lived a lot off Russians coming over. If things were to normalize one day, would that give a shot in the arm, at least to commerce in eastern Ukraine, Kharkiv, for example? Or is it really not something you plan on?
Alors, si je me poser, c'est l'influence de Kharkiv. Aujourd'hui, je vais parler en russe. То, что касается Харьков, если я понял то, что вы сказали, для нас это, когда, чтобы объяснить, у нас почти 4 региона. Киев, очевидно, потому что Киев это то, что нам надо уже объяснить, почему это важно. Харьков, в зависимости от того, что вы сказали, что это наш второй ou третий регион, где мы хотим увеличиться. Потому что мы можем понимать, что в Харьков есть большой потенциал развития. Я не знаю, если это в зависимости от России или нет, но это то, что есть точно. Alors, может быть, потому что есть студент, университет, это очень динамик и так далее. И Харьков для нас это важный город. Но есть город, мы не обсуждали по поводу этого города, это Львив, и регион Львив. Когда мы анализируем tendances, Харьков, Одесса, потому что мы обсуждали очень часто по поводу Одесса, и Львив сейчас это самый лучший повышение товарооборот, самый лучший повышение клиента, самый лучший повышение трафик. Alors, мы знаем почему, потому что Львов это недалеко из Польши. Но если нам надо сравнить и Харьков, и Львив сейчас, я думаю, что самый большой потенциал развития это сейчас первый это Львив. Для нас. Больше это Харьков. А après это зависимость от нашей supply и так далее. Есть другие пункты, которые нам надо работать. Но Харьков это интересно, но это тяжело. Но Львив это более интересно, чем Харьков сейчас.
Yeah. Looking ahead, where do you see the shopping centers go? I took my wife and our son to Ocean Plaza, and there used to be this concept of the Torgovy Ravlikatliny Center, and the Ravlikatliny part was closed because of COVID. But let's assume that a year from now the COVID problem is taken care of. And I noticed that IKEA is only opening in Blockbuster, but I think it's going to be more of sort of a showroom format. They have a special name for
Not
it.
only, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we'll deliver, but we're not attached to a warehouse immediately. Where do you see the shopping centers evolving? And I'll just make one comment. I'm from a part of the U.S. We had one shopping center, and it's now a bowling alley. I mean, people. A lot of shopping centers are dying in the U.S. It's pretty dramatic. I mean, for you, where do you see shopping centers evolving?
As for me, and as for beauty business, I feel that our consumers feel lack of offline, as I've told, and especially its population 30 plus, they really need this offline experience and nice consumer journey, especially in beauty sphere. It's really important. They don't like to buy online. Some of them, yeah, they're likely to do it, but our consumers miss offline, and so I believe in shopping center. But as Tatiana told, I believe in mixed marketing model with some place that we could use as showroom, and shop could work with pre-online order. So you can touch it in offline, but make a pre-online order to make this process more quickly and avoid this crowding of people. Hope it will work in Ukraine, but as I see as a consumer, I don't observe this, unfortunately, for now. So hope for us, like a challenge, it will be like a challenge to make this omni-channel marketing more progressive and more effective.
Yeah. Okay. Any thoughts on the future of the shopping center?
It's a trend. It's a trend, shopping mall. Yeah, I'm trying to get the figures.
It's a trend?
Yes, it's a trend in Ukraine, starting 2015.
You mean to build shopping centers?
Yeah, they will continue because Ukraine was late.
Under-shopped.
No, I'm speaking about all kind of retail, about clothes, about services, with IT and entertainment.
If you measure by square meter shopping space per inhabitant,
exactly,
there's a lot of catching up to be done.
Now, to this year we going closer to Varsovie, which is the gap was 2 times 10 years ago.
Where is it? You think it's approaching Warsaw?
In Kiev it was less than. Now we are really going to the market which is full, if we can sell. But despite to this, the new projects, the huge project like Respublika, like a Blockbuster, second Ocean Plaza, which will be open in coming years. Totally only UTG, it's one of the biggest promoter of commercial project in Ukraine, working on 15 shopping mall in Kropivnitsky, in Odessa, in Vinnytsia. And today it's a modern project, nice, different sizes. And
so Ukraine is still underserved by modern retail spaces.
With the difference that we will go into two ways. The big one with much more developed entertainment coming zone, or zone dedicated to the concert, music, movies, so the mixed offer, and small. As everybody knows, I believe, the new project Smart Plaza, or Small Plaza, close to Politechnicheskaya or na Bologna. So local, compact, modern, and easygoing.
Yeah. I once ran into, last time I talked to Thomas Fiala, I said, why is Dragon buying shopping centers? Because in some parts of the world, shopping centers are diminishing, and he responded just the way you're saying, is that the Ukraine is underserved by retail, and there's room for more. I'd like to close by asking everyone here, where they see we're going with the imminent COVID shutdown too, which I believe is coming. It's starting tonight in Paris and I think in London. Ukraine's infection rate, unfortunately, is up 7 times in 3 months. And if you look at it, Ukraine is no worse than Poland or Russia. It's just that, or France or Germany. There's been this huge upsurge, and I'm betting that after the October 25 elections, we're going to see a second, some sort of quarantine. And you all 4 of you were survivors, you're veterans, you went through the unexpected. This will probably be a different kind of quarantine, but just starting with you, Michel, I mean, how do you see, you know, in 3 seconds or less, that Auchan will respond to a second shutdown? How can you tailor it so you can keep going? But I remember going to Auchan, and it was very tough in April or May. I had to drive by a scooter for my son, and there's a lot of commerce that was shut down. Do you have any confidence that if November, December, there's a second shutdown, well, how will you deal with it? Promoting e-commerce or hygienic measures? I believe this is coming our way. Ça arrive. Deuxième quarantaine.
Comment on va gérer la deuxième quarantaine?
À partir du 1er novembre.
Confinement.
Là?
Deuxième confinement.
Le deuxième confinement. Alors, d'abord, il y a confinement et confinement. Il y a le confinement à la française où on ne peut pas sortir et le confinement à l'ukrainienne où on peut sortir. Donc déjà, c'est très différent. C'est déjà une très grosse différence.
Ouais.
Par contre, ce que nous, on a pu constater pendant la période de confinement, en fait, on a plutôt été, et c'est dans tous les pays d'Auchan, c'est pas uniquement en Ukraine, on a plutôt été très favorisés. C'est paradoxal, mais c'est comme ça. Donc les gens et les clients venaient beaucoup moins souvent en Ukraine, comme ailleurs, mais consommaient beaucoup plus.
Par visite.
Par visite. Et en fait, en Ukraine, ce qui était très intéressant, c'est que le comportement du consommateur ukrainien ressemblait au comportement du consommateur européen, ce qui n'était pas le cas avant. Avant, les clients pouvaient venir 4, 5, 6 fois dans le mois et consommer des petites quantités de produits. Alors que là, le confinement, l'obligation, ou en tout cas de rester chez soi, les a obligés à venir moins souvent et à consommer plus. Et paradoxalement, pendant cette période-là, quasiment dans tous les pays, on a soit stabilisé, ce qui est plutôt bien, soit augmenté. Et donc, on ne devrait pas dire ça, mais ce n'est pas une opportunité, en tout cas, c'est une conséquence. S'il y a une deuxième quarantaine, il se passera à peu près la même chose. C'est-à-dire que les gens viendront moins souvent, ça c'est sûr, et consommeront plus. Et comme je vous le disais, on développe, alors, avec parfois plus de réussite que d'autres, toute la partie online, autant sur la partie alimentaire qui est quand même le cœur de la consommation retail aujourd'hui en Ukraine. On a plutôt une réponse qui est plutôt correcte, autant sur la partie non alimentaire, on a encore beaucoup de travail. Et c'est pas que j'ai pas beaucoup de craintes sur une deuxième quarantaine. D'abord, on a l'expérience de la première, donc on a dû réadapter tous nos magasins, et donc on a ce feedback.
Ouais.
Et ensuite, la deuxième quarantaine, j'y crois pas trop à la deuxième quarantaine. Très honnêtement, j'y crois pas trop.
Merci. Yelyzaveta, a second shutdown, which will not be the same as the first shutdown, but a second quarantine.
I think we have a good experience now, and we need to move that barriers that we have in online shopping, and to make really joyful online consumer journey experience, and to move that barriers which connected with bad service of offline, to keep and to promote that trends which are connected with health-inspired beauty, with home-style look, and to support these trends with our proposition for consumers, and to move that barrier which connected with concerns connected with safety of online payments. We have this barrier connected with online, but I think we have a mechanism to move it. So we have a great experience now connected with our spring experience, and now we are forced with all this and ready to work with other touch points, with micro bloggers, and to make more education and more information from brands to our consumers.
Yeah, just going back to Saturday, there I was at Ocean Plaza, and my wife disappeared in a lingerie store, and I was stuck with our son on a chair in front of Beaumont. And it's very interesting. The film they kept showing was this happy 22-year-old woman, and she was like shopping online with her iPad, and it was so much fun. And it was like just sending out this message that shopping online is fun, fun, fun. And I got it. I'm repeating it 1 week later. So it sank in. Great, Tatiana. If we have, assuming we have a second, some form of quarantine.
Definitely, we will have something similar to that. Maybe with big difference, we was afraid, but it happens nothing. Now we are much less afraid, but certainly each person will get maybe COVID. Yeah. So no. It's statistics, and the first point is make people safe. So the teams and the people who come. So I think everybody working on that and continue.
Yeah.
Second, it's a Christmas time, so let's try to not miss this beautiful time, and people hope we will not stay at home only with closest relatives, and that we will able to buy and share and dance and go out. I think it's...
Yeah, well, let's hope, and I think you're right about trying to protect the corporate team.
But in terms of safety supply chain, all companies are doing pretty well. So I think we are in time with all deliveries. Now we understand how it works. So no problem with it.
Yeah. Just quickly on protecting the corporate team, I went to visit an American company, and they said, "Do you want to come to the office?" And I go, "Yeah, I want to come to the office. You're my client." And I had to fill out like 3 screenfuls. And Dominique, this is a company across the street from Paul's, where you and I had coffee the other day. And I always said, "Look, I don't want to come to your office. Just meet me at Paul's. I don't have to fill out 5 forms to meet in Paul's." But I guess if you're running a major corporation, you really want to protect. If you lose someone to COVID, then you may lose the whole team, and there's a huge, and we may be facing that problem again, more remote working, more et cetera. Great. Andrey, you've been very patient. You got the last word. Peugeot, if you're looking ahead, it's some sort of quarantine for November, December. What would you predict?
I would say that from my point of view, next quarantine, if it happens, it should be a quarantine of compromises between government and business, between consumers and business and government and so on. So we should understand that we should support each other. It's impossible to close everything like it was in spring. Now we have more experience. All government services, they experienced much more than in the past. That's why we have to push ourselves to adapt as much as possible to new conditions. It's true that it's new normal and we should find ourselves there. Definitely we have to push online because, as I said previously, people want to experience online customer journey in order not to contact people, at least to make the number of contacts less than it was in the past. So I guess it's also possible. Another point, it's respect of hygiene protocol. I guess each company has this number of rules concerning masks, temperature measurement, and so on. So definitely it should be a standard exercise each day, maybe on each your step. Another point that now the moment when government is pushing economy up, at least trying to do that, and business is consuming less than in the past. I believe that such trend will continue to exist in next year as well, and maybe thanks to government investments in infrastructure, in another areas, it will help to support businesses which are turning around.
Yeah. Well, I think there's been a lot of learning, and to be fair to the government, I was with Prime Minister Shmuhal, and he said, you know, third day on the job, I'm delivered COVID crisis, and I have to shut the country down. And they made, we all know the mistakes. My favorite mistake was when they banned the sale of seeds and fertilizers. This is in spring. You know, this is a farming country. We're not living in Singapore, and you know, seeds and fertilizers are very important. And for 3 weeks, they were technically banned until someone woke up. So we've been through that learning experience, and I hope that chambers like the French Chamber, Bertrand, will have a dialogue with the government on how to handle a quarantine number 2, because there has to be serious, and more than dialogue, there have to be measures taken into account to make this doable. Well, good. I'd like to thank you very much. Bertrand, do you want to say goodbye to your faithful... you don't. Well, I want to thank all 4 of you, Andrey, and Tatiana, Yelyzaveta, and Michel. And tune in next time. Thank you.